Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast. This is a 3-time weekly show looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club. My name is Benjamin Bloom. I'll be here each and every Monday for this, the flagship show with ITFC aficionado David Diamond and Joe Fairs for an always informative, I've got it wrong Dave, sometimes irreverent but always informative hour of football conversation. Make your Monday a Blue Monday. Dave, you're back. My phone went into meltdown when you weren't here last week. Although we must say, Mikey, Rich and Statman did a great job last week. But the Diamondites were out there. Like, where's Dave?
To be fair, I think it was most of my family with vague Twitter handles.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
Yeah, I knew these. Jordan sent it at least 4, I think. Kieran sent it 2 or 3.
How are you,
I think
Dave?
my mother-in-law sent 1. I'm not sure.
You know when Kiss go on stage and the guy comes out and he goes, "You wanted the best. We give you the best." They want Diamond.
But what about you? Did you not have a bit of it? Because it was the very first pod that you've missed. Or didn't you have a bit of withdrawal symptoms last week? The first.
No, just West Dave.
Thank Christ for that.
No, yeah, good cop, bad cop, I think. But you're back. But making his first appearance of the season, what we need to know is, has he had a good pre-season? And are you match fit, Joe?
Yeah, Joe. I'm definitely match fit. I've put in the miles in pre-season, traipsing around non-league grounds.
From looking at your Twitter, you haven't been putting at the miles, though, have you? You've been laying off the running, haven't you, hey?
The miles in my car, I've had to put running to one side to watch youth footballers play all over the county.
Are you training for something, Joe?
I am. I've got a place in the Great East Run, but I don't think I'm going to actually do it. So we'll see how the sort of next few weeks goes. But I've got a sort of a baby due in the next few weeks as well. So it's all a bit much.
It's all very grown. All very grown up, isn't it, Dave?
Oh Christ, yeah.
Well, there's plenty to talk about. Now, I know most people are going to want to hear us talk about Aston Villa because this was all good fun and very kind of proud second half yesterday. But you know the score here, Dave. We've got to go to Exeter first. And
Got to go there. Face that traffic on the M5.
Oh, God. Fair dues to the hardy souls. I was sort of watching my Twitter feed. It's 8 in the morning and I've just left for a 7-5.
I don't think we had the greatest allocations. That isn't the grounds that are building site, I think. I mean, literally one end is a building site, I think.
Yeah,
did we not only have
corner, weren't they?
We had like 350 tickets, which pretty much I think was 10% of the gate, wasn't it?
And they sold out really quickly as well. They were sold out about 2 weeks ago.
All the ground hoppers were like, "Yes, I'm in there." They weren't there.
Well, Harry went, didn't he?
Harry went.
Harry.
I'll tell you what,
Harry was a bit, not confused, but I think he was a bit surprised how far it was even from bloody Bath down there.
I'll tell you what Harry texted me 20 minutes into the game as well, just to embarrass him.
I bet, yeah.
So, Dave, Bialkowski in goal, Donacien and Ciala, Chambers, Knudsen back 4, Chalobah, Eden, sit-in, Sears, Nolan, Ward, Jackson. How close is that to...
Worryingly very, wasn't it, really? Well, I mean, Edwards was missing, I suppose. Edwards was perhaps the one he would have started, and I guess they gave, because he'd been flogging himself up front for the first 2 games on his own, I guess they gave Harrison, I think he was on the bench, but maybe not even in the squad, I can't remember. And obviously Jackson came in for him, but that was, in difference to our previous manager, that was probably as full strength side as we could put out on the night.
And Joe, were you pleased to finally see a full strength cup team?
I was before the game once I saw the team and saw that we were taking it seriously because I think we're due a cup run, but we're still due one.
Maybe in January. We're not going to go forensic on this. Harry texts me after 20 minutes saying, "This is great. I love it. This is delightful to watch."
Apparently, I was listening to it, and it sounded like we were Barcelona, but absolutely bossing it, in control. Lovely football. Not creating much though. Creating much.
Okay. And Dave, on 37 minutes, we're gonna take the lead. What happened?
I mean, it's good play from Eden, wasn't it? Very, very good play. The young lad on loan from Fulham. I think he robbed. Could have even been Lee Martin. I don't know. Wide right. So
Is
left
Lee
side
Martin
of our.
Still playing?
Lima, yeah.
It's a silly joke. Don't worry.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. Anyway, anyway, he robs him on the edge of our box, makes great ground, drives forward, evades a couple of challenges, almost slalom down the last one. Very, very good. Pings a ball wide left to Jackson, who was very, very wide, almost on the touchline. Great pace, but took it on, and he took it on and on and on to the byline, and then. I don't know. It's one of those ones. It is either a really, really poor cross or some quite clever thinking. And it didn't even go in the pace, Joe, did it? I mean, you've seen it. It didn't even go in any pace. He sort of like passed it from an angle, past the Pims in goal for Exeter, in his near post. And he just thought, oh, okay. Even Brenner commentating on Suffolk said, well, that's extraordinary. It's in, you know. But it's hard to say whether it was to me, it looked like a poor bobbly cross, but it went in. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't show any great reaction, Jackson, when he scored it as if he meant it, sort of thing. So,
Joe?
Yeah, bizarre goal, really.
But there's not been another angle of it, has there? So it's hard to know whether he actually meant it.
No.
And it looks as like there's no one near where he crossed it to. It's
It was
sort of
one
a real
weird goal.
left-foot shot, wasn't it? But
It was a really weird goal, as if he scuffed it. But it was good. I mean, because I think, as Harry and quite rightly said, by the sound of it, we'd bossed the first 20 minutes without creating anything. And then I think in the interim 10-minute or 15-minute spell between the 20 minutes and the goal, Exeter had sort of come into it and created one or two chances, I think. So you think at that stage, oh, that's good. Okay, we've got a goal. Let's reassert and let's go forward on the front foot. And then, of course, I think the very next attack, I think we nearly conceded straight away, I think, typically. But
very good.
Yeah.
So into the second half, and I think it's the game of two halves, isn't it? And on 64 minutes, Joe, bit of a cluster. What went on here?
Well, Chambers has the ball under seemingly no pressure at all. Manages to sort of put the ball 30 yards in the air. When it comes down, he tries to control it, but miscontrols it, and an Exeter player nicks it in, and he just brings him down. And then from the free kick, he duffs the free kick into the box, and Bart. It's a difficult one for Bart because there are bodies running across his eye line, but he just sort of seems to palm it up in the air, and sort of Troy Brown has sort of an empty net to head into. There's two people on the line, but he's heading it in from the goal line effectively.
I thought Bart sort of went with it with his foot. It seemed like he sort of went
off his
knee
sort of, maybe, but
weird
like I said, there were bodies running across, but he just doesn't really end up doing anything with it. But it wasn't. He didn't cover himself in glory there.
It was a cluster.
We'll talk a bit more about Bart in reference to something that happened at the end of the Villa game. So we'll save our beloved Big Pole in the goal for that. But a little bit worrying these set plays because that's one in up until the Villa game, one in every game.
It was a second phase of play after the set play, though, wasn't it? It wasn't direct from the set play, though, was it? Really?
This one was, I'd say, yeah.
Was it? Do you think? Was it?
Anyway, moving on. So some good news. Ted Bishop and Danny Rowe both make their returns. And Hurst, I think everyone had kind of discarded Rowe a little bit under the previous regime. But Hurst seems to talk him up a fair bit. And typical of Ipswich, new rule comes in. Ipswich are going to fall over it. Because I remember us beating Doncaster in extra time. Normally when League Cup, lower league game.
Or one.
Yeah, and I think McGoldrick did one of his, I'm going to play like Pele for the last period of extra time. More from McGoldrick later in the podcast, actually, Dave, you'll be pleased to hear. So typical of Ipswich, penalties, and we're going to stuff it up, aren't we, the first go. Interestingly, Paul Hurst, when asked prior to the game whether they were going to be practicing, said that they wouldn't be practicing penalties, which is always an interesting one. Graham
Can I just
Taylor
comment? Great to see Bishop back, but what a terrible penalty.
Yes.
Very weak, wasn't it?
Shocker.
So Bishop and Chalobah missed their penalties. Ipswich only taken 4 penalties. Obviously, missed half of them. That doesn't go well. And Dave, you mentioned him, Lee Martin.
He smashes it in. But to be fair, Joe, you saw the highlights like I did. Bart was unlucky with, was it their second one? He saved the first one. He's really unlucky. He went the right way and just palmed it in the top corner.
He got 2 hands on it.
Yeah. Martin didn't mess with it, just smashed it in. And you could see even Exeter, I think, even only it wasn't as if everyone ran from the halfway line to celebrate. I think just one guy sort of embarrassingly sort of celebrated with him. Really, it was, and just a shame. We spoke about this on the pod, didn't we? They got Fulham away.
Really? Oh, you love a trip to Fulham, Dave, don't you?
Yeah, I know. I love.
How do you get Diamond to an away game? Put it in Fulham.
I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Put it in Fulham. Right. Well, you can go in turns on this, and you can talk about either the defeat, Joe. You go first, or this interview afterwards, because this interview was all anyone was talking about between Tuesday and Thursday. Talk to me about the defeat, and then talk to me about the interview.
Well, the defeat wasn't. I don't know. It just seemed the second half that we didn't do anything in the second half at all. Where, as Dave was saying, in the first sort of 20, 25 minutes, we sounded like we were playing well. But the second half, it was just like, if this game doesn't end soon, we're going to lose. There didn't seem a chance of us scoring at any point in there. And Hurst was obviously really wound up by it because he came. I think there was an element that they were flying back to Stansted overnight, and they were getting late for their flight, so that post-match interview was done almost on the final whistle outside. Sort of, he went in the change room, had a go, was straight back out.
Yeah, I saw they flew. Yeah,
and did it. And like Stuart Watson and Andy Warren on the Kings of Anglia podcast had said that once they spoke to him afterwards, he'd sort of seemed to have calmed down a bit by then. So I'm surprised the club aired it even. I think it was one of those ones where you'd almost think, oh, maybe that one should be pulled, because it was scathing and probably a bit. I think it was a bit too harsh personally. And I saw Russell Osman had came out and said maybe that should stand in the changing rooms. And I spoke to Johnny Walk yesterday, and he said he personally thinks that should have stayed in the changing room. Yeah. That's that sort of talk, but it's out there now.
Dave?
Yeah, I think so. And looking at yesterday and who didn't play yesterday, who was on the bench yesterday, and perhaps significantly, although tight game, perhaps 1-1, who didn't get on at all yesterday. I think perhaps he wasn't happy with the two wide players on Tuesday night and the support they didn't give to the one up to Jackson on Tuesday evening. I think perhaps he was very scathing about that, wasn't he?
Interesting.
It was an odd one. It was almost Clough type, wasn't it, Ben? It was just so wow,
Well, we haven't seen anything like that certainly since Keane, I would say, which is
Roy Keane,
yeah. 2009.
I mean, Joe would know more about this. What I've heard from within the club, that it's almost good cop, bad cop, and it's Doig that's the real. I mean, he's huge, anyways. He's massive. I mean, Hurst, a little guy, Doig's a unit, isn't he? And apparently, it's Doig who's the one that really, really, really dishes it out. Apparently.
Yeah, no, I did, especially after the game on Tuesday. I heard he was dishing a lot out. But
Joe, the kind of sense from Hurst is that, what's everyone getting their knickers in a knot about? Did Paul Hurst overreact, and then did the fans overreact about Paul Hurst overreacting?
I don't think the fans overreacted that much, really. I think there was just general discussion about it, the shock of it and the surprise of it. I don't think anyone was really slating Hurst and saying he's wrong. I think there was just an opinion, maybe from some people, myself included, that maybe he shouldn't have said what he did and that should have stayed in the dressing room. But there's plenty of other people that were right behind what he said. And like I said, I don't think it was anything sort of disastrous. He didn't
quite name. He didn't name names, did he?
No,
not quite.
Honestly, guys, it was absolutely jaw-dropping. I sound like I'm showing off now. I was walking back from a nice little restaurant in the south of France, and I got it up, and I just stood there completely transfixed. I'm like, Jesus Christ, And sometimes managers do that when, like, as a kind of last stand, when they think they've lost their job, and one, to kind of put the onus on the players, and two, to give them maybe the last boot up the backside. But
yeah, I think it was
extraordinary. Yeah,
general frustration because you couldn't, as we said at the start of the game, you couldn't level anything at Hurst about the team he had picked. That probably was the strongest side he could have had out there. So I think there was double frustration there. I think obviously he went to win the game. He went to win the game.
And then Aston Villa, who lost in the playoff final, 2 away games, and then Norwich. You think, right, that would have just been the nice place to get the first win and get it done.
Probably should have won. Frustration building. Probably on the face of it, shouldn't have lost at Rotherham. Arguably should have won if you look at possession and the chances and stuff like, or the shots and stats like that. Soft goal at Rotherham. So double frustration there. Going into Villa at home, typical game on the back of 2 defeats.
Anything more to add on that, Joe?
Well, it makes him look a bit silly, doesn't it, when he's saying we're taking this seriously, we want to win. He names what is effective full strength side, and then we lose and play poorly. So well, in the second half.
The previous manager had a ultra crap record in the cup, but he could always point to the teams he picked, and okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
not fair enough, but he could use that as a point. Give me the funds, I'll give you the squad, and I'll put more first team players out. But I haven't got the squad, I haven't been given the funds, so these are the players I'm picking. He hid behind that a bit.
So we get to the Thursday, Dave, and they had the day off on the Wednesday and came in on the Thursday. And this season, the press conferences are all going to be on the Thursday now. So there wasn't really much had actually gone on to talk about. But he was asked about it a few times, and kind of straight batted it away and said, "Well, what did I say that was so bad?" But one thing, really, the one thing to come out of that press conference is when he was asked about loan signings in, he said, "Oh, we're no further forward. It's the housing chain type thing that we always talk about, the domino effect." But when asked about loans out, and particularly Dazelle, which was the one that caused a bit of fuss. Oh, don't loan Dazelle out. Don't loan Dazelle.
Yeah, definitely.
His comments, I haven't got the quotes, but his comments were to the effect of, look, he's not ready, but the best place for him is to stay here. So he's not going to go out on loan, but that doesn't also mean that he's going to be in the first team. What are your feelings on Dazelle? Do you want to go first, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, clearly he feels that he's just not up. He's just not match fit yet. He's still not up to the rigours of a championship game. And you look at the game. All right, I saw him playing Joe. You did. I don't think you were there, Ben, but Joe, I guess you were there at the West Ham game, where it was a lovely game for him. Up against people like Jack Wilshere in midfield. I think Noble came on second half, but anyway, so he had time to play, and it was lovely. He could land on the ball and pick passes through. But you look at that midfield. He's up against there yesterday, and quite a physical game yesterday as well. I'm not sure. Perhaps he is up to the rigours of that, and if he's not, what the interesting thing for me that Hurst said was, he's had tests, and there is still perhaps a slight weakness there. So what you wouldn't want to do is play him in something, a game like that, and then Christ's sake, break down again and be out for another countless months. Who knows? So that was an interesting thing, and I think it seems that he's going to put him on this, some elite fitness regime where he's more like perhaps bulking him up. I don't know. It sounded to me a bit more like bulking him up, but yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing, and I think you don't want to say, I can understand the reasons why he would be sent out on loan, but if there is a weakness there, then look, let's build him up, let's get him up to speed, and at least get him in the squad.
Joe, do you want to come in on that?
Yeah, no, I think a couple of things. Sort of with regards to the bulking up, from what I've heard, is that last season he bulked himself up well, but he now just needs his legs to catch up with his upper body because he missed all that season. Yeah. And I personally don't think he should go out on loan. I think if he's fit, he's good enough to be here. And if he's not fit, we're spending all this money on this new sports science approach. Why would you send him out to another club to put him under someone else's care? So I think we're doing the right thing by keeping him here. Hopefully he'll be playing in the under-23s games and bringing him in. It's a shame we're not in the next round of the League Cup, because that might have been a time when he could have played a game, or in the third round of that. But we just need to get him in and get him fit. Also, on that note, did I not read that Emma Hughes possibly might be featuring tomorrow? Yeah, he might be. He's back in full training, I think. I think he played in a behind closed door game against Cambridge, sort of the middle of the week before. And if we can get those two fit.
Oh. And from my point of view, guys, it was just nice to hear a sensible explanation about an injury rather than don't. I'm not a physio. Don't ask me. This is nonsense. Ringo Starr. It's always Ringo Starr, isn't it?
Ringo Starr on Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah.
Every bloody time. Joe, in between the press conference and the game against Villa, two of these young guys, and we know you got your links down there. You're Joe. Jack Lancaster and Bailey Clements have signed professional deals. Can you tell us anything about those two?
Well, Jack Lancaster, he didn't play many games in the first year of his scholarship. He seemed to almost be a bit of a late developer on that side. But last year, he sort of played a lot of games. He was top scorer for the under-18s by some distance. And towards the end of the season, sort of came into the under-23 squad and scored in nearly every game he played there. Only 3 or 4 games. And then had a short loan spell at Bury Town where he scored a couple of goals as well. Came back to this season and he's just absolutely flying through pre-season. He's sort of looked the best player on the pitch for the under-23s a couple of times, and that's bearing in mind he's playing with like Aaron Drynan and Ben Falami at the time, and he seemed to almost have jumped ahead of them in the pecking order. Sort of nice left foot, sort of floats around in that sort of number 10 role and can sort of play either side as well. But he's a really good player that's just come on a lot in the last 6-7 months, really.
Apparently he's a really nice lad as well. He's apparently like not scratch golf, but single figure handicap golfer. And I was speaking to someone that actually played in might have been the Ipswich Town Golf Day or something with him. And apparently he's a really nice lad, well balanced, good all round lad. Apparently.
And Bailey Clements, Joe. I think did I see him at Barnet? Bailey Clements.
Yeah, no, he did come on there, and I think he was on the bench against West Ham, but didn't come on. But
he played left back.
He's a left back,
yeah.
But basically he's coming into his second year as a scholar, but in his first year as a scholar, he didn't play for the under-18s at all. He went straight into the under-23 squad. Him and Dylan Crowe went there, so he basically has almost skipped the under-18s and is now an under-23 and has been for all of last season.
Joe, is that a pointer? So if he's in his second year of scholars, so is Lancaster now in his third year?
Yeah, he's a first-year pro, so
first year pro. So if this Bailey Clements is now in his second year as scholar, is him now obviously being a pro contract, giving a pro contract, can't say it. Is that quite unusual? Is that quite soon?
Yeah, it's sooner than most do. Like the only ones that have previously are sort of the Nydams and the Dazels and.
Yeah. Oh, so he's obviously
the guys that pushed on. Yeah, he's someone that's really pushed on and left back.
Because I guess normally the decision would be made after his second year, would it?
Yeah, and a lot of times at the end of the second year, all they do is just extend the scholarship on for another year. So basically, last year the scholars are like Jack Lancaster, Corey and Darber, Ross Marshall. They've just had, and Brett McGavin have just had their scholarships extended for a year. Where Jack Lancaster has already got his. Now, a few months later, has already signed a new contract where Bailey Clements has signed one effectively a year ahead of when he needed to.
Yeah. Just while you're on, I don't speak to our guys, but and I know I knew you were coming on. Ben, you might have already covered this, you two. Ben Knight and the other kid, the Mexican kid, Flores. Was that inevitable, really?
The Ben Knight one, the club have been fighting against it for a long time. That Man City have been after him for sort of probably 4 or 5 years, and the financial package they've put together, sort of both for the club and for the family, is just something you can't turn down. Really, it's not just sort of money. They put your sort of all your siblings through private school and move you up there. And I don't know a huge amount about sort of Marcelo Flores, but we brought him over from the Cayman Islands and. He's now moved on again, but he played. Was
his dad not a coach? Was his dad not?
I think involved? his dad was an ex-pro, and I think his mum might have been a professional as well. But his dad was a coach at the academy, but I assume he may have got a new job at the Arsenal academy. would be my guess.
That was part of the package then, yeah.
They do tend to sort out. These big clubs sort out jobs for parents and houses, and they really sort of throw the kitchen sink at you.
Very interesting. Yeah, great insight. Insight. Right, shall we go to the Aston Villa game? So, as we said, the setup here, horrible cup defeat, bit of a stinking interview and atmosphere, a lot of paranoia amongst the fans. Oh, is this all gonna go south quickly? So. We needed.
There was also the Luke Chambers interview as well that came out on Friday.
Okay, go on.
He seemed to be put on the spot by Steve Pearce and the media team when sort of asked some very difficult questions. It didn't really come across an in-house interview. It seemed a bit, and like Chambers, you could tell he was really picking his words carefully, and
he was clever though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's obviously a very good talker and a very intelligent guy. And, I don't know. That seemed to sort of stoke the fire. I didn't really see why the club were sort of going down that route. I thought they'd have just sent out Guion Edwards or somebody who didn't play on Tuesday. Sort of drew a line under the matter, but they elected to put the captain out there and directly ask him about it.
Can I just say, Ben, pre-match yesterday, big personal highlight for me. I was very fortunate enough to meet Mrs. Nuts.
Did you?
Mrs. Nuts.
Unbelievable scenes. Hello, Mrs. Nuts.
In the fan zone.
I didn't know she was there.
With Daryl. She said Daryl Jones was there as well. So, Stat, had an audience with Mrs. Nuts.
Oh, why didn't you get pictures?
Oh, I don't know. We weren't there long. Weren't there very long. But,
Unbelievable scenes. So, Aston Villa. We've set the scene now. And not many changes, guys. So Bielkowski in goal, Donasian and Ciala, Chambers, Knudsen across the back. Chalobah and Skews looked to me like they were sitting more together rather than one deeper than I saw when they played Blackburn. Edwards right, Nolan left, and despite all the Fulham fans telling me he's a holding midfielder, Eden front left, Ellis, Harrison up front. So Hurst pretty loyal to a lot of the players he's been using already, and certainly loyal to his philosophy. Villa, obviously, if you hear the savant Harry on the preview show now, you'll have known everything that was going to happen already before this. So Nyland in goal, Tuanzebe, Chester, Jedinak, Hutton across the back four, and as we had pointed out, that's a centre midfielder playing at centre back and a right back playing at left back. Bjarnason sort of sat in front of the back four. El Mohammadi, who's a right back playing at right midfield. McGinn, who's probably going to excite Dave. Grealish, who's definitely going to excite me and piss off Joe, I think. And Adoma, who didn't look like the Adoma I recognised from last season.
No,
but
he didn't.
There you go. And Kodja, who you've always liked, Dave.
Mate, he's a player. He bullied. Well, we'll get on to it. He bullied Chambers all day. I thought Chambers did actually well against him, but good player.
So first 5 minutes, not much of a pattern emerged. You could see Grealish pick up the ball a couple of times, and it's hard not to get straight into the refereeing stuff. I tell you what, let's try and save the refereeing chat for when we get to
because I'm sure some tweets will probably be about that.
Yeah, one of Joe's tweets was quite funny during the game. I don't know if you read that one, but
I did.
So yeah, the first foul goes in on Grealish, and they try the Blackburn free kick that worked against us. Great move from Ipswich. Edwards is going to do this every game. He's exciting me now. He's in the right back position. He beats Hutton, then into the crowd. Somehow comes out with the ball. He's not scared of a tackle. Edwards feeds Nolan out to Eden. In the meantime, he makes up the ground, gets to the back post. The cross is a really good cross. Hurst is always talking about, I want wide players to make crosses and have shots, and this was two of them. In he comes. It was a beautiful move. He really close in. Looked harder to hit the bar than it did to score, but it was a brilliant move, and he hits it with his left foot. It's a little bit behind him, Dave, I think, and hits the crossbar.
I just don't think he was expecting it to reach him, really. It was one of those ones, I think he's almost reacting to the ball suddenly being there, very unlucky. And do you know what I liked about that? It was a very similar position, really, to when he scored the header against Blackburn. So he made up a lot of ground there, made the box. Yeah, great move, and he's going to get you off your seat, isn't he? He really is.
Joe,
the cross actually had come off as it came in. A defender got a slight touch away, so that's why he was off balance a bit behind him.
I beg his pardon.
Doing him disservice. You're probably right, Joe. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. The long throws are back on 17 minutes. Knudsen long throw. Harrison's better. I know we were a little bit spoilt with Garner in the air last year, but he's not terrible in the air. Chalobah shoots and it's blocked. Chambers follow up. It trickles wide. But on 20 minutes, and I would say slightly against the run of play, they certainly weren't on top, Dave. Villa take the lead. Take it away.
Yeah, it's poor from Eden, really. He switches off. There's a throw wide right, down our right. Grealish actually takes the throw. Grealish takes the throw, and by the time he reacts, Eden's sort of getting across. It's reached McGinn, who he's quite clever. He sort of lets the ball run across him. He's all left foot, as we know. He's on the right now. He's all left foot. And it's what he does next is so good. He just switches the ball from his right foot to his left and hits it so early with bend towards the in the penalty box, towards the 6-yard box. And all Kodja really's got to do is, Chambers is a bit unlucky. It just doesn't miss time his jump. He just misses Chambers, and Kodja's just got to get ahead on that. The cross is the goal. It's a brilliant cross, and he's so far right. You say not right in the corner, but 6 yards out with a cross at that pace, he gets a nick on it. Yeah, but no chance.
Joe?
Yeah, sort of similar to what Dave said there, really. Just the cross is just unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's so much pace on the ball, and the sort of just the height of the cross as it comes across. It's all at one height almost, and Kodja just gets up and flies up, but unless it's going to hit him, he's not going to save that.
Yeah, it was poor from me. It was poor from Eden. He switches off on the throw.
And he lets him get onto his left foot a bit too easy as well. When you know that's the only place he's going to go, but
the cross. I don't think this, other than Eden not reacting, I don't think it's too much. The goal was a great goal.
27, Białkowski, quick catch and throw out, but he throws it slightly ahead of Teo Eden, who slides in and fouls El Mohammadi. And again, we'll come to this at half time. The ref had given a lot of free kicks for a lot of kind of 50-50 niggly stuff, and he decides at this point he's going to get his yellow card out. Doesn't speak to Chambers about the persistent foul play, which we seem to have been guilty of, judging by the amount of free kicks. So Eden takes the yellow card on 27 minutes. Grealish pops in the free kick. Knudsen and Skews, I don't know what they were doing. Complete miscommunication there, because they were both looking at each other as Codger.
Right, the face.
Yeah, in between the two. And did that hit the bar?
No.
Oh, no.
It landed on top of the goal.
Top of the goal.
Skims the bar, yeah.
Yeah, I wondered if he'd hit the bar. But a good chance for Codger there. But Joe, 35 minutes. We said the long throw-ins are back, and I mean we can give a big assist to an Aston Villa player here, but we're going to score from a Knudsen long throw. Joe, what the hell happened?
Well, sort of Knudsen lines it up, and Chalobah sort of runs across to sort of be at the point where the throw is going to land, and then he does this really ostentatious dummy and pirouette.
And his hair, because of the bandana, just flies all over the place as well, doesn't it? He's not a discreet chap. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I think it's Edwards and Harrison sort of go up for the ball, but don't really get anywhere near it. The keeper, I don't know, the keeper just makes an absolute hash of it. He's not really under much pressure, and he just sort of flops it down onto the floor. And Chalobah, in fairness to him, sort of takes a touch and turns and hits it and hits a target. And like I said, there was only one guy on the line. He managed to miss him, but he took the goal really well for sort of a big defender up there in reality. But the keeper was just poor, and he sort of looks around, and everyone just looks at him.
He came miles for it. He was past the penalty spot. There's no need to come. Because it was only one of those. Then and Knudsen, it was one of great throw. He just hung it up there. Well, it didn't come flat like a Delap sort of with pace, did it? It just sort of hung up there.
And like I said, we didn't really have any bodies at the front post looking for a flick. It was only Harrison there and Edwards just sort of standing there. Really, it wasn't like you had two big men like Enciala and Chalobah at the front trying to get a flick on. There was no real danger, but.
We'll take it. Good finish, you're right. I thought it was a great finish. He swiveled there. Really good finish.
He didn't really know how to celebrate, so he decided to run and try and get the ball back.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything more to add to that, other than we at least seem to have some kind of strategy for the long throws. I know we're laughing at Chalobah, but there was the guy in there, and this. Presumably, the run is meant to cause some kind of distraction or whatever.
Joe was right on the long throw. We didn't seem to be committing the big players forward on the long throw, which was odd. And I noticed that 2 or 3 times yesterday when Knudsen was taking the long throws. Enciala wasn't going. I don't even think Chambers was going. It was quite.
But they're definitely back though, aren't they? Because they were noticeably start of last season. No more long throws. We're done with that. But 38 minutes, and we get the flashpoint of the game here. So it's Eden on Tuan Zebi. The ball runs loose. He's got Skews covering him. The ball's going safe. When we come to this refereeing thing, we'll talk about the merits of the tackle. But the ref, I was watching it and thinking, right, if he's going to send him off, he's going to send him off straight away. Yeah. And I remember Mark Halsey doing this with Liam Trotter, this kind of incredibly...
Portsmouth in the cup.
Yeah, chit-chat, and then very, you use the word ostentatiously, Joe, I'll steal it, pulling out the red card. But no talk to Chambers, no talk to the player, and the 2 tackles, and I think at this point Ipswich have been penalised probably for, if not 10, very close to 10 fouls. It was one every minute or so, and he decides to pull the red card out on the youngster starting his first league game, who's made two tackles. We'll talk about it. We are at half time now. Just to say, off goes Eden. I never understand that, and don't beat me up on Twitter. I never understand a standing ovation for a player getting sent off. But I guess the idea was, look, we've got your back.
There, really.
You're a young guy. It's sympathy, isn't it? So Nolan moves out to the left-hand side, and it's very straightforward: 4, 4, and 1. Dave, so right, let me give you some scenarios here. If we're completely unbalanced and biased Aston Villa fans, we say Ipswich were committing loads of tactical fouls and they targeted Grealish and they deserved everything they got. If we're completely unbalanced Ipswich fans, we say, oh, the ref gave us nothing and he blew up for everything and he was biased. The point I want to make before you come in is, I know it's not the referee's job to control the behaviour. Well, no, it's his job to officiate the games, but there's a way to go about a game like that where you either bring a yellow card out early if you think Ipswich are persistent fouling. You bring the two captains over and you say, I'm gonna book the next 3 tackles like that or what have you. Where you go first, Dave? Where does the truth lie in this? Because I thought he lost the plot in that first half, but am I a biased Ipswich fan?
It was a funny one because you've got players like Grealish and players like Grealish. I think he's a great player. But no matter what his antics, whatever about being on the floor and diving and stuff, he's got such quick feet, incredibly quick feet. And Grealish is very good. I know this is sort of another subject, but he uses his body really cleverly. Always gets his body between the player and the ball. Very, very good. So yeah, if there's any contact and he's in a advantageous position, he's going to go down. I haven't really got an issue with that. But the ref was very fussy, very, very fussy, I thought, and that's what he started off on the wrong foot, probably. I think that's part of the problem. And I mean, as far as getting on to Eden, I don't know if you want to deal with that now.
Go ahead.
He just showed a bit of inexperience, probably. I don't know, that's probably down to Chambers, perhaps. But then again, perhaps Chambers just thought, well, he's just going to get a talking to. When he's had his talking to, he's going to come jogging over, and then Chambers perhaps was going to have a word with him. I think the kid showed a little bit of inexperience. All right, rightly or wrongly, got the yellow card for the first challenge, and he did lunge in. He did lunge in for the second challenge, whether it was a yellow or not.
Yeah,
he gave the ref the opportunity.
My brain was going silly boy when you could see how the game was going. Joe, what's your view, and what could the ref have done differently for this not to go down like this?
What, the red card or just in general?
Just I don't think you can look at the red card in isolation because it was the whole half, wasn't it?
And it wasn't a dirty game, was it?
No, I thought I just thought the ref was poor, to be honest. And like generally, I think most refs we get are poor, but they're just incompetent rather than almost sold. Like the Blackburn ref was rubbish, but he made bad decisions against both teams, and you just sort of accept that in the Championship. But this ref didn't give us anything in that first half at all. It seemed any time a Villa player hit the deck, wherever it was on the pitch, they were getting a free kick for it.
And then Bruce then started to realise, and I was sat behind him, and he was coming to the edge of the area every time, and obviously realised he could influence him. Joe, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, like I said, whereas we just didn't get a free kick, it seemed, for about 20 minutes, and like the Portman Road crowd isn't the most vociferous, but all 4 stands were getting frustrated by it, and to the stage where we're cheering when we get a throw in and things like that, because it was just like there was like for one of the chances in the second half, the ball was clearly off the pitch when Codger tried to keep it on down in the corner, and the linesman's a yard in front of him, and he didn't give it, and the lino, it seemed, lost all confidence in himself because the ref was so poor, and he wouldn't even put his flag up for throw-ins. He was watching the ref every time.
I sit there every week. Linesmen do not give decisions; they react to the ref every time.
Dave,
every single time.
But the whole team,
it's unbelievable.
They stopped making decisions in the second half. They obviously were second guessing stuff.
It's always dreadful. I sit 5-10 yards from it. You see it every single week. They don't make decisions. Even it got to the point in the second half, even obvious throw-ins and stuff. They were, they're not waiting for the ref, and of course then it was or whatever.
And by the way, I don't blame Bruce or the Villa players for taking the tack that they did. It was obviously a strategy that would work. But yeah, okay, I think we've done that in a reasonably balanced, not we was robbed way.
Yeah, I think Eden was very unlucky. It
was a harsh lesson, wasn't it?
Well, I was speaking to my dad when it happened. I said I don't think we're going to see him in the second half but this is how long it was taking. So I was like, he's about to get his last warning. He'll probably get the hook at half time because he's a little bit overzealous. But neither of the fouls were bad fouls. And the way that the free kick was given and then the physio came on, both teams lined up to play. I know Grealish had a little pop at the ref straight away, but no player from either team was sort of surrounding the ref, and the ref sort of wandered away with Eden. And it was probably about 90 seconds, 2 minutes later, that he sent him off. And a lot of times, I think refs make life difficult for themselves by not looking at the reaction of the players. You can tell if it's a bad foul, or you can tell if it deserves a yellow card because you've got their players rabbiting in your ear. But everyone just seemed to, okay, it's going on. Otherwise, Chambers would have been over there, or Grealish would have been over there. Someone would have been over there if they thought there was any doubt that they could get in the ref's ear and try and influence that. But
Grealish did a bit when he made the challenge initially. Grealish reacts a bit.
He had that quick pop, but I think even then he just thought, oh well, no point overplaying it because it was.
By the way, on that note, do you think if the manager, if Hurst persists with playing him, the lad from Fulham on the left, that it'll be his Eden project? I can't. You having that? He's not having it. He's not having it.
Yes, it will be his Eden project. Although Eden's project.
I told Mrs. Nutt yesterday, I'm going to get that in. I'm going to get that in tomorrow. So I didn't think I'd get it in with him being sent off, but there you go.
Eden did get sent off in the under-19 European final for 2 yellow cards, and he's been sent off again another time for England for 2 yellow cards and Fulham. So he is someone that maybe is the best timer of challenges and doesn't know how to play when on a yellow.
Needs to start watching those Paul Scholes compilations on YouTube.
Maybe
nice footballer, nice footballer though, isn't he? Nice. I like him. I do like him.
Player.
Yeah. Well, and also, I'll move on from this and we'll do the second half. Just quickly on Eden, the amount of things we've had to mention already. Scored the goal against Blackburn. Dave, you picked up that he played Jackson in against Exeter. There's certain players you can watch for 3 weeks and not notice them, and this guy, he's always involved in it, isn't he? So there's as you would say, Dave, there's something there. There's a player there. Right, second half. I thought we started the second half really, really well, and I thought it seemed to be a deliberate ploy. Look, you're going to get tired. Go for them. Go for them now. And it seemed to be quite sort of swashbuckling. Not much in the way of chances. A couple more long throws, and then the first thing that happens is Donacien completely cleans Grealish out on the halfway line. That was probably the worst tackle on Grealish for the whole game, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. He cut him in. He absolutely cut him in two, didn't he? To be fair, Grealish got up quite well from that because I thought he'd absolutely sawed him in half. But he got up quite well.
I don't think he caught him that heavily, but Grealish was late, it was late, and it was a definite yellow and a foul. But I think Grealish used his body to avoid the challenge as much as he avoided the ball.
And Chambers and Codger down in your corner, Dave. Tangle. Codger gets the cross in, not cleared, falls to Grealish. He's got magnet feet, but he takes too long, and he's going to go round and round and round. And
get past the first player, he should have hit it. He dropped his shoulder, and then he should have. He dropped his shoulder once, twice. He probably should have hit it on the second one, and he dropped his shoulder again. And by that time, they'd got back.
He didn't have any shoulders left to drop, then, did he, Dave?
He didn't have no more shoulders left.
59. Nolan wins the corner on the left wing here, floats it in. Harrison. He's quite well marked, and he puts the header wide. Villa break out. Grealish feeds a Doma. Dave, you would call this a can't be asked shot with the left foot. It was very weak straight at Bialkowski. So Steve Bruce, who we are probably going to conclude is quite similar to our previous manager, makes his attacking move on 63. So Green comes in for Tuanzebe. Hurahan comes in for Bjarnason. So Al Mohammadi moves to right back. Adoma swaps wings. McGinn as a deep line playmaker, which I thought would be a lot of fun, but no. Hurahan into centre midfield. Green goes over left. So big reshuffle, but you would think maybe he would have gone 4-3-3 and realised that we were posing no threat.
Surprise him.
There you go. Yellow for Hutton on 64. Grealish drives forward, feeds Hurahan. His shot is deflected over. Corner driven into the near post. Green jumps up and flicks his foot at it. Goes well wide. Jackson comes in for Harrison. We'll talk about Harrison after the game. Hutton down the left. Long cross to the back post. Hurahan collapses to the floor. You guys would have a good view of that. Adoma comes in behind. Side foot volley. Poor finish. Knudsen clearly is trying to get in the referee's head. He's right up in Hurahan's face.
Yeah, froze himself.
what level of chance was this, Joe, for Adoma?
Well, I don't think the chance was that good, but I think Knudsen was very lucky with Hurahan because he had a full hand of his shirt. You can almost see Hurahan's belly button at one point. He pulled it so far from the neck, but
shades of Joey Vandenberg, if you remember that night at Reading and Knudsen.
He was lucky there, though.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Dave. We've exercised Reading. We beat them 4-0, and they're going to be terrible again this season.
Looks like it.
Poor clearance from Bart turns into a poor touch from Skews. McGinn drives forward, puts his shot wide. Hepburn Murphy comes in for Adoma. Didn't happen for Adoma, so he's going to play down the right now. Snodgrass, anybody here? Jackson pounces on a defensive lack of concentration here. He runs at goal, but I think it's Chester possibly pushes him wide and shoots over. McGinn takes yellow on Nolan. Big switch out to Edwards. He stands up his man. Low cross in. Nolan's got to the near post. Couldn't quite get a foot on that one. Nolan has been knackered already for about 10 minutes before he comes off. And he did. It's so funny. I sat behind the dugouts yesterday.
They weren't happy, were they?
It was Nolan basically asked to be taken off 10 minutes before that, and Hurst was like, no. He really was like, he got his bottle of water, and he didn't take him off. So Kenlock comes in just to shore up that side. How did this not go in? Codger down the left, drives it across. And Ciala, who is has got a bit of Soul Bamba about him, hasn't he? Swings at it, could go anywhere, safely out for the corner. How close was that?
Very. Yeah, I think it was close. Yeah. Not a great view.
I don't know how he got it over anywhere, but it was good defending ultimately. Judging by the result rather than defending.
McGinn crosses in, horrible spill by Bart. And do you know what? My brain was just going, completely unnecessary. That's going to put us on the back foot for the injury time. They're going to hem us in, and they're going to score some muggy goal in injury time. Edwards fouls, Grealish free kick in, McGinn from the left. Skews clears it. Hurahan takes. I've watched this back actually. Hurahan couldn't have done a lot more with this, given
Good hit. Great hit, but
they closed him down. They closed him down really well, and he can't quite get it in the corner. And Bart decides to go with two hands and just push it away. Yeah. But I think knowing Bart as we do, when that shot comes in, he was probably like, "Oh, right, okay, I got this." You know,
that was a very comfortable save. Not by his positioning.
Good power. Got a lot of power in that, didn't you? Though.
And there you go. So for once, Ipswich don't mess it up in injury time. They get a very creditable draw given 53 minutes or whatever it was with 10 men. Very rousing kind of actions by Hurst on the pitch afterwards. Everyone kind of clenching fists and quite proud. Dave, did you see enough to... I assume you were a bit... You sent me one of your crap texts after Tuesday night. Did you see enough to say, no, this is okay. This is going in the right direction?
Yesterday, given the strength of the opposition, and all right, I suppose you're always pushing against adversity when you're going down to 10 men like that. But I did. I mean, I don't even want to go through the players. I was quite impressed with Donasian. Right back, he looks a proper athlete. And I think he'll do a good job there. Where that leaves, I mean, I know you're high on him, poor old Josh Emanuel. I don't really know, but I was impressed with him. NCR as a presence in there.
Very talkative.
And you were saying that I saw on your post-match thing.
Yeah, he's really
something else we must get onto in a minute is I read on the forum today that apparently we could be in for Carter Vickers again.
That's a Twitter question. We'll come on to that.
All right.
Dave,
I tell you who I did think was outstanding for not no reward, but Harrison I thought was brilliant yesterday. The running he put in yesterday, absolutely superb. And he was up against Chester's. All right, Jedinak, not as you said, as Harry said, not a recognised centre back, but he
heads everything away.
There. I thought Harrison did really well, putting a real, as our previous manager was saying, a right shift and absolutely ran his socks off. But, he looks, not frustratingly, because that's the way obviously we're going, but he does look the sort of player that you think, with someone else up alongside him. He looks a player. I thought he did really well.
Joe, why could you talk to me about Nolan, because that's the first time I've seen him play, and he receives the ball. There was one point in the second half where he skinned a guy. A lot of his passes are good. Why is he struggling to get into games?
Well, yesterday was a strange one, isn't it? Because he's sort of playing in the central midfield role, and then he got shoved out on the left, and sort of without really anyone around him. And I don't know. I just don't think we haven't got used to getting a winger supporting the sort of front man yet. Where if he's playing in that number 10 role, you need to be picking the ball up with two wingers bombing on and a striker making runs. Where at the moment he hasn't got that movement around him.
And plus, I thought yesterday, he just didn't see enough of the ball. We didn't see enough of the ball. And you're not when you're playing against players like Grealish in midfield. They're going to have a lot of the ball, and McGinn as well. They're going to have a lot of the ball. And I said to the guys around me, I said, yeah, there's I'll say it again. There's certainly a player there. And what I liked about Nolan, he's two-footed as well. I like that. I like it.
He went up to take a corner. I was like, hang on, I thought you were left-footed.
Yeah, I like a two-footed player. But yeah, I think, it's tough to judge him, I think, on yesterday, given the quality of the midfield he's up. You won't play against a midfield like that in the Championship week in, week out. You won't. So, I think he'll do all right.
One thing I did notice with the corners, it's a bit frustrating where we sort of, obviously Hurst had these good set-piece routines at Shrewsbury and sort of scored goals. Well, we don't seem to have worked out anything on set pieces yet, even with regards to who's taking it. There was two corners in the second half where
Nolan didn't know, did he?
The ball was on the corner spot. No one knew who was taking it, and then Nolan jogged over.
Maybe Eden was supposed to be taking them.
Yeah, but that could have been readjusted at half time. It's not like he was sent off in the 65th minute, was it?
No.
Cheers.
No.
So
I think
that was just one thing I noticed there.
We were spoiled by, and I will admit it, Ben, we were spoiled by Waghorn's deliveries last year, weren't we?
Oh,
he used to ping.
I'm going to admit it now, are you?
Oh, he would ping them in, yeah. Would hit the first defender sometimes, but when they came off, they were effective.
Oh, yes. Do you know, I think the easiest thing to do here might be to go to Twitter questions, because I think there'll be some Aston Villa stuff. There's a lot, and we'll try and do as many as we can, but try and keep your answers vaguely succinct, gentlemen. With that being said, I'll go to Joe first, Dave.
Mildly hurt by that. Mildly hurt.
Oh, Dave, come on! All those tweets that came saying, "Get Dave back on."
Carry on.
What level should Nydam and Downs be playing if they go out on loan, Joe? This is from Matthew Noble.
Well, considering how much Nydam played in this league last year, I wouldn't want him going anywhere below League One. I think League Two's too low for him. I think Downs could maybe go to League Two, but I think we need to get Nydam into League One, definitely.
And quickly, I'm thinking MK Dons, he suggests. One for Joe, has Dylan Crowe signed a contract yet, as bigger clubs were being linked to him?
No, he hasn't.
This is from Dylan, Dave. Is
Dylan Crowe?
Dylan at DSDWG2000. Hi, Dylan. Is Knudsen long throws a real advantage, or will they quickly be learnt how to deal with them?
The latter.
This is from Park the Bus. Joe, do you think Luke Chambers fits in this system?
For the moment, he does. I think probably throughout this season, maybe for the start of next season, he'd look to be phased out. But I think for this season, we're going to need his leadership sort of qualities in there.
And Dave, can you imagine Paul Hurst starting with, and we'll talk about him in a minute, Cameron Carter-Vickers / Tilt alongside Niala with Chambo on the bench?
Well, I'll go back to what Joe said a minute ago. I think you need him there at the moment for his experience and leadership.
Joe, this is from Scott. What do you make of Harrison so far? Dave was quite pleased. I won't watch him live until the Norwich game, but he doesn't seem to get into the right areas enough. Is that his fault, or is this systemic at the moment?
I think it's to do with the system at the moment. He's not getting the support he needs from sort of the wide players coming in. Edwards is starting to do it, as you can see from his goal when he hit the bar the other day. But you need those two wingers have got to be coming in and getting close to him, because otherwise he is having to run the channels, and he needs to be playing sort of in between the sort of shard box, that sort of area, not the whole width of the pitch. But he's looked good. I've liked what I've seen of him so far, generally, though.
Yeah, we're all nodding here, Scott. Dave, Adam Flatt, when all our midfielders are fit, should Cole Skews be worried?
Oh, mate, I don't know. Again, a bit like Chambers, all right. Perhaps he's not quite such a presence as Chambers, but looking at all the changes and all the new players coming in, like it or not, he's still part of the core of the team. I think he will still. I think he'll persist with Chambers and Skuse personally, rightly or wrongly, but I think he will.
I'll spoil a bit on the extrapolation, Dave. Later on, I'm going to read out the 6 players who have played every minute, and 4 of them are Bart, Chambers, Knudsen, and Skuse. Played every minute so far.
Yeah, well, that's the core. No, that's the core of the side. You can't just throw in 11 players, can you? That's the core of the side.
No. Yeah. Joe, this is Chris Hodges. What do you think the reason is behind Paul Hurst not signing any further loan players? Who would you sign if you were in the position? Keep up the good work. Thanks, Chris.
I just don't think he's been able to get the deals done yet. I think they're still looking, but obviously the pinch point came with regards to the permanent window, so all the work went to that, and it's almost a case of sort of breathe now, and then you sort of start working towards the latter window, and the deals will be concluded, unless it's someone like a Curtis Tilt that is a long-term target that we can get away. We'll take him as soon as we can, but I think otherwise we're going to be looking towards sort of the very end of the deadline to get players in again.
Dave, this is Simon at Portman Ginge. Simon, I think you've been usurped by John Nolan as the Portman Ginge now. I was thinking about this. I went to watch Brentford today and I was like, Ryan Woods can't be my favourite Ginger player anymore now. It's going to have to be Nolan, isn't it? Dave, based on yesterday's performance, will we finally get one over our rivals on 2nd September? The question was based on yesterday's performance.
Yes.
Very good. This is Mark for Joe. With Lancaster and Clement signing pro deals, do you see them featuring in Hurst's plans this season, or are they insurance if we're unable to bring in loan signings?
I don't think they're insurance. I think they're just players for the under-23 squad at the moment. There's a chance that if Lancaster carries on playing as he has been throughout pre-season, he might be one that gets some minutes towards the end of the season, but it wouldn't be part of his development plan to be playing for the first team this year.
I guess a bit like Falami did last season, yeah.
Yeah, and Ben Morris had a little bit, but Morris is a fair way ahead of Lancaster still. So,
I'm going to take this one. This is from Justin Crane. As Ben's been to Le Sud de France en vacances, who's shown the best Gallic flair in the town blue? Oh, the best Gallic flair in the town blue, Dave. I think we're going to have to go to you on that, aren't we? Best Gallic flair in the
Gallic flair.
Do they actually have to be French? Or just who's shown the best flair? Because this is going to have happened in 1981, isn't it?
Best Gallic flair from a French player or not?
From
a French player, it'd be who's a guy who's a ledge, the centre half, and his name escapes me.
Manuel Fetis, the overhead kick.
Yeah, the overhead kick at West Brom, isn't it?
Ulrich Le Pen, Sylvain
Legwinski.
Broken foot. Surely the overhead kick at West Brom, wasn't it?
And didn't he do? If you're watching on YouTube, didn't he run off? I was at that game. He ran off doing that, didn't he?
This big, I hope so.
Burly bloke.
Yeah.
This is Rodney Marshall. Whose question is it? Dave, is it yours?
No.
How can we solve this one isolated striker with little support problem? I think Joe's touched on it. Given that Paul Hurst does not like playing 2 up top. Well, can I just throw into this? When I went to Barnet, Dave, I thought, and this is against weaker opposition, it seemed fairly obvious that the plan was for the 2 fullbacks to be right, wide and high, and the wingers to be inside a little bit more. So everybody harping on about 2 strikers. This is not about 2 strikers being forward. This is about players getting forward. Yeah, and it all comes from the whole team shape. If the fullbacks are forward, the wide midfielders can come inward to support the forward, and Nolan should be behind there threading it through. It doesn't need another forward.
I honestly think, just to reiterate what I said before, that a lot of that frustration from the Exeter game was aimed at Sears and Ward.
Joe, do you agree on that?
They were the 2 that I'd sort of, from what I'd listened to on the radio and the sort of highlights I'd seen, I'd sort of pick those 2 out as potentially the ones that it could be. And bearing in mind the only other players that played that game were Chambers, Knudsen and Bart, who were sort of mixed players effectively. So those 2. Oh, sorry, is that a pound in the square?
That's a pound in the kick.
Pound.
But so yeah, those 2, and the fact that Miles Kenlock came on at left midfield, and it wouldn't even surprise me to see Danny Rowe kick on ahead of those 2 this year. And
wow. But one thing I just need to say, Paul Hurst has been scouted and researched for having a philosophy going back more than one season. He doesn't need hassle to be changing his philosophy. He's going to stick with one up front, and it's about players supporting him. You're not. I just think Ipswich fans, you might see two forwards at the end of a game with chasing, but you're not going to see a 4-4-2. I just can't see it. Not in the immediate future, unless this gets really disastrous. But anyway, David Rowe, this is for you, Joe. Has Bart fully settled after his World Cup adventures and returning to an enhanced contract? Seems to be occasionally distracted, stroke fluffy. Please discuss.
Well, it's just a different environment, isn't it now? Different manager. He's being asked to play with his feet a bit more. He's having to think about things a bit more, where it had all been almost programmed into him. Like we talk about the outfield players having it programmed into them, what they do. It's the same for the keeper. And when he's thinking about where he's got to pass to, where he's got to kick, his mind's ticking and he's sort of making a few sort of uncharacteristic mistakes. But I wouldn't be too worried about it. He's still a brilliant keeper at this level, and he'll sort of get back to it, I'm sure.
Well, I think any mistake he's made, because he's been so magnificent for the last 3 seasons, any mistake he makes is just going to be magnified, isn't it?
He normally doesn't make little mistakes, though. He just makes the odd one big one.
Yeah, drop the odd bollock, won't he? But not much.
Little ones. But also, as well, just coming in on what Joe was saying, surely everything he sees in front of him will be different now in terms of fullbacks should be further away when he receives the ball. The defenders should be higher up as well, and you're right about the recalibration. Dave, this is Evan Williams. My question, was that move from Guillaume Edwards the most exciting moment at Portman Road in the last few years? Glorious moment if the ball had gone in the net.
Which one? Well, yesterday.
Oh, you think you could be talking about the Blackburn one as well?
The dribble yesterday and the move. Yeah, because obviously he started the move. Yeah, yeah, it would have been a hell of a goal. Yeah, it would have been a good goal, great goal. Yeah, I think Joe probably nailed it from where he sits. I couldn't see it, but I think Edwards just got ahead of the ball because perhaps it was a slight deflection. But yeah, he's going to get you up off your seat, isn't he? I love it. He's just such a direct, old-fashioned throwback winger. Loves the touchline. Stands defenders up. Love all that.
I'm getting.
Yeah, I went to Crawley in the. For his debut, and within about 10 minutes of coming on, you could tell he was going to be a sort of a player for us, because he can sort of stand a defender up when he's from a standing start with the ball at his feet and manage to get past them and get the run on them from a total standing start. So
my one concern with him,
skills.
My one concern, I think he's quite slight and quite light. Although he likes, Ben's quite rightly said, he likes to attack. He's not afraid to get stuck in. It's just if he can last the course, the slog of the championship. I know he had quite, I know looking at the Peterborough forum when we signed him, I had a look and there was questions. Great player, great talent, but he'll play 5 games, he'll miss 5 games. So hopefully with our new sports science and stuff like that, that can be, that can be, if it is a problem, that can be addressed.
I feel a little bit like a cautious, nice private schoolgirl, and Edwards is like a playboy alpha male, and I don't want to fall for him. I don't want to fall for him because I know he's going to break my heart, but I'm falling for him. And as soon as I fall for him, it's going to be Finidi all over again, isn't it?
Hang on, don't stand so close to me. It is, isn't it?
No, I'm not. I'm not an adult, and this is a child.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's the plot line of St. Trinian's 3.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Right, let's just do a couple more. If we can get CCV on a season-long loan, that would be 1.5 years at ITFC. I'm no huge fan of loans. This is Nick Jackson. But surely this would be brilliant business. Who wants to do Carter Vickers? He's young. He's not the quickest or the best on the ball, but certainly damn good defender.
So is he going to leave? Well, is he going to suddenly play 3 there then?
No,
we've already said he's probably not going to leave. I can't see him leaving Chambers out. And surely he's not going to leave his new signing out, who I think looks apart. Don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd agree with Dave on that. I think if we're bringing in Curtis Tilt on a permanent transfer, it's a little bit different because Nsiala and Tilt can be the future partnership with Chambers to see it through. But if we've got Carter Vickers here just for this season, then just has a selection headache.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that really.
Let's just quickly say thank you to Edward and Andy and Ben, Jules, Harry, Josh and Nathan, whose questions we're not going to have time to read out.
Do you remember the early days of the pod, Ben, when you used to make them up?
I never made them up. I never made him up. What do you think this is? The BBC? Oh, right. Let's. Oh, dearie me. Right. Should we get to the roundup then, boys? Let's go.
Oh my God! How far in are we, for Christ's sake?
1 hour 4 minutes. We'll do this quickly. I've got a new segment for you as well. It's going to go on.
Right. Segment. Don't forget that. Go on.
Bristol 0, Borough 2. Comments, Joe, quickly.
Bristol City have been terrible since Christmas. I think they've won 4 out of their last 28 games. So Lee Johnson, the Brent effect has gone. His sides have always gone on runs, haven't they? They've always been brilliant or terrible.
Streaky bacon.
Yeah.
Dave.
The bacon's off.
And Pulis is top of the league again. I had this with Cardiff last year. Every time I look to see a Cardiff goal, I was like, oh, please, just not a muggy throw-in or free kick lobbed into the box. And I turn on my phone. Randolph boots the ball right down the middle. That was Webster who made a mistake for that first goal. Anyway, I said
didn't play yesterday. They got in specifically for that. They got Hugo, haven't they, as well?
Who got Hugo? Borough,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Dave, Bielsa 2, Rotherham 0.
Mate, he's got there on a row, aren't they? 3 games on a row. Great goal from, well, 2 things. Goal line tech from Ayling with hair like you. Obviously not as good as yours, Ben. Sorry.
Got mistaken for a woman today.
Kamar Roof is hot. What a goal that was! Do you see the take? Gets his body past the defender. Yeah, he's in some form, that lad. So
podcast
looking good.
Favourite. Good. Speaking of another podcast favourite, West Brom 7, Steve McLaren 1, and Joe, and just indulge me and Dave. Is Matt Phillips going to be the Venom Player of the Year? He's got the hardest shot in England.
Well, I didn't think his goals were that good. One was just went under the keeper, didn't it? And was there on a penalty? I can't even remember.
The one I saw at Nottingham Forest the other week was ridiculous. Wow!
Yeah. This game was 1-1 at half time. QPR were back in at 1-1 at half time. Came out the second half and lost 7-1. And just totally fell apart.
Dave's laughing, Joe, because he knows I was sat in a stand at Nottingham Forest, in the Nottingham Forest stand, and he knows that when that goal went in, that I can't help myself but go, oh, wow, what a goal! And
did you frighten people? Did you frighten people around you? I hope you did.
The problem is when a player lines up for that, 9 times out of 10, they slice it or something, and it goes... so I get really excited. You know I do before... Yeah,
I mean, just a quick observation on West Brom, 2 games, 11 goals.
Jay Rodriguez and Dwight Gale. Money.
Wowzers.
Yeah, money.
Yeah.
Brentford 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. I have just got back from this game. Brentford were very good. Sheffield Wednesday were not very good at all. They seemed to switch from their 3 at the back last week. They put Hutchison in midfield. I always thought he was a defender. Forestieri stuck out. Did he get sent off or not? He did not. Forestieri is stuck out on the left-hand side. Newey, who was having one of his I'm a pub player games. Dave, Bannon was the best player by a mile. Did a couple of little left-footy things in midfield. But not a lot to fear against Sheffield Wednesday.
Defeat by us, and then another bad result the weekend for Sheffield, and then perhaps another couple in September, and perhaps
Mr. Luke, bye.
Change of manager there.
How long till a big-nosed Yorkshireman with a great record
comes
in?
Who do we think?
Oh, no. Dearie me. Joe, Reading 0, Bolton 1. Great start by Bolton. Reading are terrible, aren't they? Harry had them right, didn't he?
Yeah, I've backed them for relegation this year. They were dreadful last year. They started the season dreadfully. They don't have any goals in them at all. And Wigan, it was Wiltshire, wasn't it, scored a sort of through-on goal, decent goal, and Reading, I don't think they barely had a shot after that.
What a bit of play before for the goal from our man Noon. We like Craig Noon.
I saw that. I thought you'd like that. Chest down and assist over the top. And
almost Villa type.
Was it McShane? He was brilliant, the defender, because he was like, oh, whatever. You've done me with that pass, haven't you? I'm not going to get that. Right, I'll do Birmingham so Dave gets to talk about Dave McGoldrick. Birmingham 0, Swansea 0. Didn't see any of it, don't care. Yotta's got nice hair. Right, Dave.
Birmingham were really good, actually.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah.
It was on Sky. Birmingham should have been out of sight in about the first 20 minutes.
Oh, did Bersant Salina play holding midfield?
He played a deep midfield role. Swansea couldn't get out of their own half for nearly the whole game.
Salina played deep mid. Wow. I can't wait to see that.
I checked that. It's still the old Swansea philosophy. I think Birmingham had 17 shots to Swansea 6, yet Swansea had 67% of the ball. So no change there.
Dave, Sheffield United and David McGoldrick 2, Norwich and Jordan Rhodes 1. Explore.
Yeah, Rhodes has sort of he scored 2 in 2 now. Is it a bit unlucky? He hit the post as well. Could have easily had another one. They went ahead. I think Egan didn't he score a couple against us the other year? Brentford centre half. That was another goal. Tech one floated over, and then Rhodes scored. Tell you who looked good for Norwich, and I think he may have. For the goal anyway.
Anel Hernandez.
Yeah. May well have taken over the Madison role.
Did you see that moment where Norwich had 3 players through from about halfway line and didn't score?
No.
And I think they also hit the post as well. But
Dave, it was miles offside there, wasn't it? I didn't see it back, but Sheffield United tried to clear it, hit a Norwich player, looped over everyone, and the linesman didn't give it offside, even though.
But there's 3 of them running through.
Yeah,
on goal,
all offside. I didn't watch it back, but.
And then the winner was the winner. No one likes to see 90+3, wasn't it? Back post. McGoldrick keeps the ball alive really well. Sort of volleys it back in, and Sharp's been doing it for donkey's years, isn't he?
He loves it.
I did switch on because I do when they lose. I did switch on to see Jack's match day experience part of that.
I watched that. Yeah,
Jack, he looked close to tears at the end, didn't he?
He
looked like he was wanted to cry.
I've been speaking to Jack today about a podcast engagement next Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll say no more.
Hello.
Rematch.
Part 2. Or was it part 3?
Part 2.
How long has Fart got if they can't start winning games?
Well, yeah, we'll
find out next Sunday, Ben.
We shall see. Millwall 2, Derby 1. It's the most predictable thing in the world. Frank Lampard goes to Millwall and loses.
Can I just say quickly, just go back, I know very, very quickly, before they play us, they've got Preston and Leeds at home.
Oh, Alex Neil. What, both at Norwich?
Carrow Road, yeah.
And
Preston
Bielsa.
in the week, Leeds next Saturday, yeah. Before they play us.
Well, at least they'll get a kick-in against Preston, won't they? Even if they
won't
win.
Be Leeds.
Brown and Pearson are good in midfield for Preston. They're good players. Good players.
Yeah.
Where am I going? So Millwall 2, Frank Lampard's Derby 1. Nugent or Waghorn on Tuesday then? Nugent smacked one in the top corner, didn't he?
Yeah, Waghorn had one disallowed, which I can only assume was the one Lampard was saying they had an onside goal disallowed. They didn't show the replays. But Derby, the second half, battered Millwall, absolutely battered them, but could only get 1 goal for it.
Well, John, go ahead,
Nugent
Dave.
came on for Waghorn, didn't he?
Oh, okay. And they're still playing the one up front, are they?
Looks like.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. It will definitely be Waghorn on Tuesday, won't it? Hull 0, Blackburn 1. Andy, who we had on to talk about Hull, is near suicidal. I think some stuff has gone down with the Alams again this week, and it's all a bit depressing again there at Hull. How many goals is Bradley Dack going to score?
It's exactly the same goal he got at Portman Road, but from the other angle, from the other side, wasn't it? Exactly the same goal.
Symmetry.
Good player.
Yeah, very good. I think he's got 4, but he went off injured.
Oh, Wigan 2, Forest 2. Dave, Nottingham Forest have a player called Diaz, who the fluffiest player. You're going to love him. You're going to absolutely love him.
God,
he'd step over every time he gets the ball, dribbles it. He can't play a normal pass that's not a reverse pass. He can't pass the ball standing still.
I think my dream player would be a hybrid of Pablo, Jet, and Darren Curry. That's it. Dream player.
With a bit of
McGoldrick thrown in now and again.
Oh my God! What football manager stats would that player have, Joe?
I'll be off the charts, mate.
Determination 1, stamina 1, tackling 1, heading 1. That'd be Dave's favourite.
Keep me up. He's 12.
We're gonna doing well under Paul Cook, Joe.
Yeah, they're a good side. But what sort of strikes me strange is last year they had such a good defensive record. They barely conceded in the league. I think they only conceded something like 20 odd goals. This season they've conceded about. I think they've scored and conceded about 9 goals in 3 games.
Hardest league in the world, Joe. Hardest league in the world.
No, but they've started scoring now. So I think they had like a 4-3, a 2-2. No, I think it's been 2 3-2s.
There's a 3-2, wasn't there? They lost 3-2 at Villa and won 3-2 on the first day. Preston 2, Stoke 2, Peter Crouch.
And a dreadful elbow. Did you see that?
Oh, that's shocker. How Gallagher stayed on the pitch.
Poor
Gallagher's penalty.
Oh, yeah. Thunder bastard!
No, but he stood with his back to not how Shearer did, where he.
Yeah,
that's how he makes them. Yeah,
that's a penalty.
I've never seen. Does he always do that? I've never seen that.
Yeah,
never seen it.
But he absolutely flattened Joe Allen, real late, terrible elbow, and then he scored a penalty and then set up a goal afterwards.
Do you know I quite like Alex Neil, but do you hear Neil afterwards defending that? Defending that. So no, he's just trying to counterbalance himself. Jesus Christ. Tell you what,
he's
just quickly about
He's not that sort of player.
Yesterday, he was Crouch scored his 200th career goal. And it was his first goal outside. He's had a career outside the top tier since September 2000.
What, for Portsmouth?
QPR.
It's an unbelievable record, isn't it? When you think 200 league goals,
it's all in the top, 99.9 in the top at the top level.
15 goals a season for like 13, 14 years. I know he's done it for a longer period than that, but to score that many league goals is some going.
Yeah, he's had a career.
Here
comes goals for England.
Here comes the extrapolation, guys. Ipswich are in 16th position. It's a bit pointless doing the points now because they haven't won yet, but 2 points from 3 games. 0.66 points per game means we'll be relegated bottom position with 30 points for the season. So we need a win, as previously revealed. 6 players on the full 270 minutes, and some familiar names: Białkowski, Knudsen, Skews, and Chambers, joined by Donacien and Chalobah. 3 players on 1 goal so far. I'm just doing league here. Edwards, Eden, Chalobah, 1 assist for both Sears and Edwards. You ready for a new feature, boys?
Let's go.
No stat of the week this season because we're going to go to hashtag ITFC number of the week. So each week we will hear from the Renegade Statman who's going to give us a number. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it out to the listeners. You guys don't have to answer it, so don't worry. This number is relevant to this weekend for Ipswich Town or what have you. You have to get yourself into the head of the Renegade Statman. So
it's impossible.
That's a dangerous place.
It's a double-decker bus and some American football stuff. So Statman's number, his hashtag ITFC number of the week this week, don't give the answer away, boys, is 92. 92 is Statman's number of the week. If you think you know what relevance that has to Ipswich Town this week, then tweet the Renegade Statman at ChompX3 using the hashtag ITFC number of the week, and we will read out the person who gets the answer right first. So the number is 92. Okay, from one game to another. 2 little ducks.
There we go.
2 little ducks. Okay, so you two can play together and you can confer. So let me give out the rules. I'm going to pick a game from the annals of Ipswich Town history. We're going to start soon, Dave. I'm going to pick one that we've had before, aren't I? And not remember that we've had it before.
Oh, just pick one from long ago that I'd have a decent go at.
Okay. So Joe and Dave are going to try and name as many of the 22 players that started this particular game. They're both going to have a life, so you can both get one. What do we call it? Your golden goose. You can play your golden goose, and I'll let you have it. Remember, if you name a used substitute, you're not out, and we've got to see how many we can get. Now, guys, I think if you get above 7 on this one, between the 2 of you, I think this is hard. Okay, but don't forget to confer. So your 2 Little Ducks game is from the 15th of August, 1992. The first weekend of the Premier League is Ipswich Town versus Aston Villa. You may remember the goal. Dave, you're not cheating out of shot there, are you?
No, I'm not cheating out of shot. I've got my pad.
We can't see. Can you move in shot?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. People will say you're cheating, especially if you win now. So, 22 players. First weekend of the Premier League, 1992. Ipswich hosted Aston Villa. Can anyone remember the score?
1-1.
1-1. So, if you can remember the goal scorers, you've got a fairly good start. Dave, do you want to go first?
Gavin Johnson.
Gavin Johnson, that's unstoppable. Look at the bend on that ball.
Look at the bend on that ball.
Gavin Johnson, you can have one. Joe?
Dalian Atkinson.
Oh, rest in peace, Dalian Atkinson. Yeah. I quite moving that song. Those Aston Villa's fans, they sing all the passed on players' names.
Eggy, Ugo, Eggy.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yes, Dalian Atkinson, you can have. Dave, that's 2.
92. Craig Forrest.
Craig Forrest, that is 3. Joe Fairs.
David Linnigan.
I was going to say him.
David Linnigan.
I was going to say him.
4.
This might be a goose. This might be a goose.
You going to golden goose it?
Geraint Williams.
You didn't play the golden goose there, so I'm going to give you 5, and you've still got the golden goose. Joe Fairs.
Steve Froggatt.
Oh, where did that come from?
I just watched the highlights video from Rich posted earlier today, and
I'm sure you're kidding me.
Giving the ball away, but
okay, Steve Froggatt, 6.
Where are we? 90. Where are we? 92. Oh shit! Would walk.
I like
John
where you're
Walk.
going. Yeah, 7. John Walk.
I play my golden goose, but Frank Yallop.
You were right to play the golden goose. No, Frank Yallop.
Have I got a golden goose as well?
Yeah.
Was it okay? But it's not. No golden goose. Mick Stockwell.
Obviously. 8. Very good. I think he's playing right back, Dave.
Chris Kiwomya.
Yes.
Shout.
9.
92.
Can I just say the footballer of the year is playing in this game?
Okay. Footballer of the year is playing this game. Ray Houghton.
This is his debut. 10. He wasn't the footballer of the year.
Paul McGrath.
Paul McGrath was the footballer of the year. 11. This is good.
Ipswich. I might play a golden goose on this one. Or am I? Jason Dezelle.
You didn't play it. 12. Very good.
Neil Thompson.
Yes.
Ooh,
13.
Love that. Neil Thompson. Oh, 92. Zondervan had gone. He didn't play after the promotion, did he? I'm going to play a golden goose. Simon Milton.
Simon Milton's a used sub, so you can keep your golden goose. That's fine.
Okay.
This is good. 13.
Where are we on the Ipswich team? Who else is there?
Not many left, is there?
One.
Did you say yeah? You said yeah.
I think
just try and get one.
3 left, guys, from Ipswich.
Is there an obvious? There must be an obvious one in there.
Eddie Gowds or Phil Whelan, but I'm not sure which one of those. So, who was in the Villa team back then?
Can I? I'll go Eddie Gowds. I think he played.
Used sub, so you're clear on that. It doesn't count as a score.
My battery's running low. Hang on. Christ, how long have we been on for?
Cyril Regis.
Cyril Regis is a used sub.
Cyril.
Yeah. So you can have that one clear. Dave, plug your
Gary
laptop.
Parker.
Yes. 14. Gary Parker.
Andy Townsend.
And you guys are out on 14, but I'm going to give you a big round of applause there. That was double what I expected you to get. It's because someone watched the highlights today, didn't they, Joe? Hey, right.
Got me one.
Yeah, right. Very good work. Forrest, Linnigan, Whelan was right. Stockwell, Thompson, Dezelle, Johnson, Walk, Williams, Goddard was the other one. Kiwomya, Youds and Milton used subs. For Villa, Spink, Barrett, Staunton, Teal, McGrath, Froggatt, Houghton, Parker, Richardson, Atkinson, Daly, Cyril Regis used sub. That team finished second in the inaugural Premier League and thankfully got ahead of Norwich, else we would never have heard the end of it from the Norwich fans if they finished second and not third then. Right, we better hurry up then, hadn't we? Derby on Tuesday, Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday. Your thoughts, Dave?
I mean, just weird that we're playing those two teams. We've got unbelievable records against over the last few seasons. I think Derby. I checked this.
I don't even want to check.
I read it right. 11 games, won 8, drew 3 of the last 11 games at Derby. We last lost in 2007, 2-1. I think Lupoli scored a couple, I think. And Sheffield Wednesday about the same. I think not quite so good, but 1-4, drew 5 of the last 9. I mean, it's ridiculous. Derby will be stinging, won't they? Though Derby will be up for that, up for that big time. So, and their only other time they played at home under Lampard in the league, they got turned over royally by Leeds last week. So yeah, it ain't gonna be easy, is it? That one,
Joe.
If we could win either of those 2 games, I'd be happy to get at least a win under our belt and sort of go from there. I think Derby's going to be a real test. Like I said, they absolutely battered Millwall in that second half yesterday, and they need to win, and they're going to. You'd imagine they're going to come out flying with a big crowd behind them. But Sheffield Wednesday seem a bit all over the place. But I'd take a win and a loss out of those 2. I'd like more, but just to keep us away from that bottom 3 before we can have a chance to sort of get Hurst's methods fully across to the squad.
Are you going to either, Ben, or both?
Both.
It's on the Sky. I was contemplating Derby, but it's on Sky, isn't it? Red button.
You're a working man, though, aren't you? You've got to be there.
You're on holes, of course.
I'm on holes at the moment. Okay, so it's going to be very interesting. We need to say, obviously, a big thank you to Dave and a big thank you to Joe for being on today. But we need to say thank you to all the people who contributed in our 1-minute match review video today. So every week, Richard, you can follow at IpsRich, is putting together a 1-minute match review. So if you go to an Ipswich game, we would love to hear your 1-minute review. Even if you don't go, to be honest, if you listen to it on the radio or watch it on iFollow through whatever nefarious means or on the red button. Please check our Twitter at Blue Monday ITFC, and we'd love to have as many people as possible. It's going to be better for home games, I think, than away games, but if you're up for doing that, we would appreciate that greatly. We need to say thank you to Harry from Bath, whose preview shows have been fantastic. He will be back on Friday to preview Sheffield Wednesday. Might be with Mikey, might be with me, might be with Richard. We'll see what happens with that. Dave, this week in ITFC history is apparently returning. Not this week, but next week before.
I think so. Next week. Yeah, we spoke yesterday, so I think should be next Wednesday week.
Looking forward to that coming back. Dave, where can we find you on Twitter?
At Dave Diamond 3.
And you can find him in the fan zone before the games. Go and talk to him. He loves it.
Loves the chat.
Joe, where can we find you on Twitter?
Just at Joe Fairs.
And the Academy one is?
At ITFC_Academy.
Lovely stuff. And you can follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. All of these videos are on there. And we're just going to give one plug. And we're going to play out. Richard and I worked very, very hard on our brief history of the Premier League video, which we'd love you to see. So we are going to close the show out by listening to that. If you enjoy the very silly song that we have made, please go onto YouTube and share it. It does help more than you can imagine, putting us up the algorithms to get more subscribers, so I can hopefully pay Dave to do this podcast between now and the next millennium starting. Dave, do you want the last word?
No, really, I'm looking forward to hearing the song.
Okay, Mikey, do you want the last word? You're not Mikey. Joe, do you want the last word?
Not really.
What would Mikey say? Be careful what you wish for.
Be careful.
Sky Sports, Brian Dean, Alan Shearer, Roy Keane, Paul McGrath, Cantona, bigger transfer bids. Fergie time, back pass rule, number 10s, Andy Cole, Bruce, yes, SAS, you can't win with kids. Matt Letizia, Boa, Newell, Cita Stadia, Kung Fu, Cantona, Blackburn Rovers on the charge. 2 teams gotta go, Burkamp, Pancinidio, Hullet, Zola, Ginola, European takeover. Sky didn't start the football, we've been playing for ages, but they raised the wages. Sky didn't start the football, they just changed the name, but not the way we played it. Entertainers, Keegan, love it if we beat them 4-3. Aspria, Cantona revived. Shearer 50 million. David Beckham, Emerson, Vieira, Overmars, Wenger has arrived. Gianluca Vialli, Cantona finale. Frank Leboeuf, Carragher, no more tackles from behind. Michael Owen, Anel changes everything. Big Sam, Jokayev, one up front, Super Kev, Ferdinand, Stevie G, Leeds United shopping spree, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Rooney, England's wonder boy, Lampard, JT, Russians in a Chelsea. Sky didn't start the football, but they helped the players become rich and famous. Sky didn't start the football, though they never claimed it, sometimes Keys and Gray did. Didier Iron, welcome to the special one. Rafa, RVP, Checker Makalele, Cristiano parked the bus, Tevez starts to cause a fuss. False 9, keep the ball, undefeated Arsenal. Berbatov, Carlo, Tony Pulis, long throws, Torres, Sheikh Mansour, you got money, he's got more. Sky didn't start the football, but they gave you fun days with their Super Sundays. Sky didn't start the football, but the Premier League became as big as Jesus. Gareth Bale, Yaya, Tiki-Taka Silva, Vincent, Mario, Sergio Aguero, Suarez, Ozil, Rodgers and the fatal fall, Jose, back again, Eden Hazard, Harry Kane, Jamie Vardy off the scale, Leicester City fairy tale, Jurgen Klopp, Gegenpress, Pochettino, Mahrez, Conte, 3-4-3, Kante wins another league, Guardiola century, what else is